In today's brief video, I want to take a moment and talk about the domino effect of quitting smoking weed. Because for me, when I quit smoking weed, a lot of positive things started to happen. And I want to explain why and how those things started to happen and how it all connected back to smoking weed, or in this case, not smoking weed. Now, if you're new to the channel, real quick, my name's Dr. Frank. I struggled with various substance use disorders for several years, and now we have a company that's dedicated to helping people overcome these substances. To learn more about our programs, both free and paid resources, there's links in the pinned comment and video description. So the domino effect of quitting smoking weed is essentially referring to gaining positive momentum in multiple areas of a person's life once they make that decision to quit smoking weed. And I want to be very, very clear. That momentum doesn't necessarily occur simply because you stopped smoking weed. It occurs because of some of the traits that you develop as you practice the discipline of sobriety. And I'm going to expand on all of this in today's video, okay? So let me start with what my life looked like when I would smoke weed, okay? So let's pick up at the nighttime hours, because that's predominantly when I would smoke weed. So I get home after work, eat, a relatively crappy dinner, smoke weed, start to watch the news. The news would get me upset because I cared about politics at the time. And then I'd smoke. I'd get bored of watching the news and TV. Eventually I'd watch social media and I'd binge social media for hours. I'd get bored of that and I'd want something more exciting. So here I would be high smoking at night, and then eventually I would stumble into adult media content. Spend some time watching adult media content, do the deed, and then fall asleep. Now, fast forward to the next morning. I'd wake up typically, with enough time to get ready for work and get ready for my day. I was never like lazy in that regard, but I wouldn't wake up with enough time to like make breakfast, work out, or have any chance of like even attempting to take care of myself or set myself up for success that day. So wake up in the morning, get in my car, and basically just head to work, right? Take a shower, brush my teeth, head to work. Work a 12, 14-hour day, working jobs that at the time I really enjoyed, but that I didn't necessarily want to be working, just because I knew I was capable of doing more than I was doing at the time. I had more to offer. And then I'd go home. If I wasn't working my second shift job, which was usually personal training in the evenings or retail, and I would just do this routine over and over and over again. And this was a cycle of weed. So I'd go home after work, I'd smoke again, start watching the news, start ruminating on how I didn't like my job, how I didn't have a significant other that I, could spend time with. And I would just get into like this dark, anxious, kind of depressed state of mind. And then I would keep smoking to escape that state of mind. And this was the domino effect of smoking weed, right? Decreased energy, increased anxiety, fatigue, lack of motivation, just a general lack of interest in life, okay? This was my domino effect of smoking. And now I don't have energy, so I can't perform at work. I can't perform at work, so I can't increase my income. I can't increase my income. I can't take a girl on a date to go, potentially meet someone that I had interest in getting married, that I could get married to, or that I could date. And this was the domino effect of addiction. And it happened over and over, and I'm spending my money at doctor's appointments because I'm sick all the time because of these substances. Now, okay, you quit smoking weed, and here's the domino effect of quitting. I don't smoke weed at night, so now I go home, and suddenly TV isn't as interesting. Suddenly social media and mindless scrolling isn't as interesting. Suddenly adult media content isn't even as interesting anymore. So now here I am at night, not smoking weed, not binge doom scrolling on my phone and doom scrolling on the news. Now what am I going to do? Well, I had to figure that out. Eventually, for me, that something became social media. I was like, I like making videos. I've made them before for a CBD company. I've made them before for my chiropractic offices. So you know what? Maybe I'll make videos about addiction recovery and helping people quit stuff. And then it became, I'm kind of good at this. Maybe I should learn how to edit the videos. Maybe I should learn about audio equipment. Maybe I should start to learn about the YouTube algorithm and the TikTok algorithm and how these things work. And maybe one day I can turn this into a company that actually helps people quit drugs. And this was the domino effect of not smoking weed. Now I would go home at night and I had the time, I had the boredom to start doing something else, right? I had the clarity to start focusing on something else, something that turned out to be way more productive than smoking weed was for me, i.e. building a brand, building a business. Also, way more purposeful, way more joyful, right? I think a lot of people find purpose in helping other people. And one of the best ways you can help others is get better at whatever it is you have to offer the world. And that's exactly what I started to do. So, okay, you do that. And now the next day, I'm not experiencing that weed hangover. So I have more energy. Now I'm able to work a bit harder. I'm able to work a bit longer, but not with the same level of frustration that I had when I was, anxious to get home and go get high after work, right? I was able to be more present. And when I was able to be more present at work, I was able to make better decisions. So my indecision started to go down. My mental acuity, my mental clarity started to go up. And that mental acuity and that mental clarity allowed me to perform better in my career. That made me more money. That allowed me to go on dates. Going on dates allowed me to meet my wife. Meeting my wife allowed me to start my family. Starting my family gave me more purpose. Now I'm really having a purpose to work because I have a little child to support and a wife to support and a family to support. I was someone who knew that I would eventually find purpose in family. That may not be for you, but that was for me, and that was certainly a beautiful thing that I'm happy about. So, do you see how this works? I smoke weed, I'm anxious, I'm depressed, I'm fatigued, I'm making crappy decisions. I'm not smoking weed, I'm not as anxious, I'm not as pressed, I'm more energized, I have more mental clarity, and I'm making more rational decisions. And that's advancing my career. Advancing my career alleviates financial stress because I'm making more money. Advancing my career helps a lot of people. Helping people provides me with a sense of purpose. Right? When I have a sense of purpose, I tend to experience more joy out of life. When I experience more joy and I have less financial stress, I can be a better husband. I can be a better father. Do you see how all of this builds on itself? This is the domino effect of quitting weed. And this could be quitting any substance. Now, here's the deal though. Those things didn't just happen because I quit smoking weed. Okay? That's not how that works. Those things happened because of the skills and traits that I developed, remaining committed to my sobriety, because of my practice of sobriety. That's why those things happened, okay? So I didn't just quit weed and start making more money and my physical health just magically improved. I mean, mine kind of did because I had psychosis and CHS, which were horrible. And once those alleviated from quitting weed, my physical health did dramatically improve. But all of these things required work, right? Dating required a lot of work and a lot of effort. I speed ran 75 dates before I eventually met my wife, okay? And that required a lot of work and a lot of practice. I had to learn I was never super smooth. I had to learn how to talk to girls. I had to learn how to dress for a date. I had to learn how to handle rejection over and over and over again, which is fine because I was only looking for one person. I wasn't looking to get married to a million different women, only one. I only needed to click with one, but I had to learn how to connect with that person. So the first 74 dates that quote unquote failed were excellent practice for the time that I eventually met my wife. But I learned this and I adopted that mentality from the practice of sobriety because, saying no to weed again over and over again and just learning to control myself, saying no to myself. Frank, you don't need to smoke at this wedding. Frank, you don't need to smoke because you injured your shoulder. Frank, you don't need to smoke because you had a horrible day because this family drama exploded in your face. Saying, Frank, you don't need to smoke to deal with this business stress. What you actually need to do is figure out a solution to it. What you actually need to do is talk to your family about this. What you actually need to do is your shoulder's injured, go work out your legs. You got small calves anyways, right? So I learned commitment, grit, discipline through practicing sobriety. And then I used those attributes to develop and build out those other areas of my life. That sobriety was the starting momentum that I needed. And those traits are what created the domino effect. So quitting weed was the first thing. But all the stuff that I got from quitting weed, which is largely the mindset around it, right? Very few people in today's world can make a decision and commit to that decision for a prolonged period of time. That's what sobriety is. That's why you see so many people, if you're looking in the right places, who attain sobriety, build such beautiful lives for themselves afterwards. It's not necessarily because they removed the drug, okay? It's because in many cases for that person, that was the thing that sparked the grit and the commitment and the determination and the perseverance. That was the thing, right? And that's why you can see people who are alcoholics, who do, smoke weed all the time, who are successful as well. Because for them, that didn't need to be the thing. There was some other thing that built those traits in them. For me, sobriety was that thing, okay? So I guess I'm just trying to explain to you guys, like, that I don't know, the best way I can. Like, for me, quitting weed had a very positive domino effect that occurred. And a lot of that had to do with building momentum in a positive direction. And quitting weed was the first step to that positive momentum. And there's the equal and opposite is true, right? If you keep smoking, you keep doing it, and you're in a bad situation from it right now, you're going to continue to build momentum in that negative cycle, and you're going to experience that negative domino effect of continued cannabis consumption, right? Decreased finances, decreased physical health, decreased relationship, business and relationship-wise, business and relationship-wise, stuff like that. So the equal and opposite is true in this case. You just have to decide which side of that domino effect you want to be on. Now, we have a free 7-step guide to quitting weed in the link in the pinned comment. We have 2 different variations of one-on-one coaching programs where I'll work with you and help you quit. We also have a group coaching community, and we have supplements designed to help reduce stress, reduce anxiety, reduce cravings. It's a chewing gum supplement. We're the only people in the world to make this product. We're the first and the only people to make it. It's called Kick It Crave Less Chewing Gum. And if you're struggling with the withdrawals and the cravings and stress when you're quitting, that chewing gum can help you out. Nicotine, stimulant, and cannabis free. It contains ashwagandha and N-acetylcysteine. You can learn about all that stuff in the links in the pinned comment in the video description. Otherwise, follow me into my complete guide on how to quit using cannabis. I'll see you there.